What's going on, golf addicts? DB here with the Sleepers video for the AT&T Byron Nelson. I got two names, 6K range, both sub 5% ownership projections early here on a Tuesday. I doubt they're going to break that. And there's some box checking guys. They really are. And you're going to need some low end plays because chances are you're going to roster Scotty Scheffler and or Terrell Hatton and maybe Tom Kim, maybe some Hideki if you're bold. You're going to want some of these guys, right? And if you're going to do that and you're going to eat that chalk up top, you better have some low owned leverage plays in your DraftKings lineups. I wouldn't recommend betting either one of these guys to win. I don't think it's going to happen, but I do think they have some top 20 upside. So we'll talk about those numbers as well. Again, both in the 6K range. And let's start with the first one. I'm going to share some screens, look at Fantasy National, and show you what I'm talking about. The first one is the more expensive player of the two. It's $6,800 and plus 950 on FanDuel is the best number on a top 20 for Matty Schmid. That's right, Matty Schmid. I don't know that I've ever advised anyone to play Matty Schmid, but he is checking some boxes as I'm running kind of a mixed condition model on Fantasy National. He's coming in pretty nice. He's one of the longer hitters in this field, coming in at second in driving distance over the last 24 rounds. He's 30th in strokes gained approach over the last 24 rounds, 19th in opportunities gained, and he can freaking roll the rock, which is what you're going to need to do here in a birdie fest at TPC Craig Ranch. He is 29th in the field in the last 50 rounds in three putt avoidance and 28th in strokes gained putting over the last 12 rounds. Let's open it up and I'll show you what I'm looking at here in terms of ball striking, because this long-term proximity from these longer buckets, iron buckets, is going to be key for Matty Schmid. If you look at TPC Craig Ranch, there's a lot of shots over 200 yards, either into these par threes or into some of these shorter gettable par fives by some of the bombers. And this is what I like to see. Obviously, short term, there's been an issue on a couple of events with Matty Schmid. Could be one or two swings that has him off. But over the at least last 20 tournaments, last 10 tournaments, this is where he makes his bread. That's where he butters his own bread. Okay, in those long iron situations. So you can see here what he's doing in his first full season, I guess, on the PGA Tour. The Fortinet starting down here. A lot of green in this range, which you'll love to see. Now let's look at something else. Matty Schmid hits it a long way. Look at the average driving distance of 319. You've got generous fairways here at TPC Craig Ranch, and you're gonna want to bomb it, all over this place. And look at the putting. Look at the butt. Now, he doesn't gain strokes off the tee, probably because he sprays it a little bit. No big deal. Don't care out here. You've got some room, as I just said. But look at how consistent the putter is. I like this. And I also like that in a birdie fest, American Express finished sixth. Barbasol finished eighth. He's also got, I think he's got a couple good finishes. Yeah. Alfred Dunhill Links back in 2021 finished ninth. That's another kind of birdie fest situation for Matty Schmid. So I think he's an option. I really do. I think he's an option, $6,800. I think he gives you some upside that, that some of those other guys may not give you. And he can roll the rock. That is going to be key. All right. Before we get into the next play, let me share my screen again and show you the sponsor of today's video, front9coffee.com. Good jitters for those early birds. Make it happen. Look at this. You can get these special limited release Tour Junkies coffees, the Bump and Run, which is Pat's blend, dark espresso blend, my blend, the large bucket of nuts, the hazelnut blend, all on front9coffee.com. These are golf loving, coffee loving people, and when you order it, it will be roasted fresh and then delivered to your doorstep anywhere in the US. They also now have K-Cups. You can order whole bean coffee if you do your own grinding at home. You can check that out. Promo code TJ10 gets you 10% off your entire order, and you can use that code over and over again. So keep coming back, keep resupplying. It's a great Mother's Day gift. Mother's Day is right around the corner. I don't know if it'll get to her in time if you order right now, but a late Mother's Day gift, maybe. You can start thinking about Father's Day if your dad's a good coffee drinker, so you could try that out. Anyway, we appreciate Front Nine Coffee and their support of the Tour Junkies podcast. So, all right, let's keep looking. My next play. Now, this guy I've mentioned before. I've mentioned him on the podcast before. I think he's been in a Sleepers video before. He may be a little more on the radar for some, but I still doubt he cracks that 5% ownership mark on DK. He's at $6,500. His best top 20 number right now is 9-1 on FanDuel. And I'm talking about, Kevin Roy. Apparently, I just love me some Kevin Roy. Maybe it's the secession references that I want to make in my head, but I refuse to do. But the guy's a good player. Corn Ferry Tour graduate. This is his rookie season on the PGA Tour. In fact, let's look at his. Let's pull up what he did on the Corn Ferry Tour, just because I think it's kind of interesting to see the full picture of a guy. So he finished 23rd in the order of merit. He's a Syracuse, New York guy. Now lives in Florida. Played at Long Beach State. This guy's been everywhere, man. Had 7 top 25 finishes, 4 top 10s, and a runner-up on the Corn Ferry Tour last season. He was 23rd in driving distance last year. He was 20th in greens and regulation rank, but he can't putt. And that's, you're going to see that here in just a second. Birdie or better rank on the Corn Ferry Tour, 16th. Now, if you rank 16th in birdie or better percentage on the Corn Ferry Tour, you know how to get the ball in the hole. All right. Let's look at Kevin Roy. Let's look at some stats. Let me show you what I'm looking at here. I feel like I got to sell people on Kevin Roy, but again, like Matty Schmid, look at these long irons. Look at this long iron performance. Like, this is what I'm talking about. I mean, he can really get it with these long irons. That's what Craig Ranch demands. Let's start looking at some other factors here. He bombs it too. I mean, you can see here, not quite as long as Matty Schmid, but very long on the Corn Ferry Tour, and actually surprisingly accurate. Let me show you this on Fantasy National. Look at this. Like, normally with a guy who hits it that far, you only see the green on the left-hand side for driving distance. You rarely see the green here on fairways gained, good drives gained. But that's not the case with Kevin Roy. He's long and straight, which is a deadly combination on the PGA Tour. Look at his last 5 events. Last 5 tournaments, he's gained around an average of 2.3 strokes on approach. Love that. He's gained on approach in his last 11 tournaments. Consistent iron play from a guy who hits it a long way. Gotta love it. Now here's what we're got to look at here. You see the putting, right? But it's not terrible. It's okay. It started off really bad. His first 2 events on the PGA Tour, he lost almost 14 strokes putting. My God. But it's not awful stuff. I mean, and you have the occasional green over here. Now -3, -3 here is not great. -2.5 at the Valero, not great. That's going to hold him back. These greens aren't super tricky. Okay, they're large, they're flat. There's not a ton of undulation. They're pretty pure bent grass greens. I was on site for this tournament last year. They just kind of do what you think they're going to do. It's not like you have to have some knowledge of like grainy Bermuda and know how to read those and know how to understand the grain. I don't think it's going to be that hard for Kevin Roy to figure this out. It's going to be about speed control, hitting it close, and making some putts. Obviously, he can hit it close, but can he make the putts? It is a little concerning, yes. Coming off his best finish of his rookie PGA Tour season at Vedanta Vallarta for the Mexico Open. That's another golf course where you got to make a ton of birdies. Distance matters. So I think Kevin Roy sets up nicely for this place. We'll see. I think he's worth rostering. At 6,500, just feels like a lot of savings for Kevin Roy. So there you go. That's 2 sleepers, sub 5% owned, I would bet, and some long shot top 20s. I tried to find a top 40 number for both of them, but no top 40 numbers out as of Tuesday morning just yet. If you're going to bet these guys, I would probably prefer the top 40. But I do think there is top 20 upside. You're just going to have to, 9 to 1, 9.5 to 1 might be tough to do. So check out these 2 guys. Check out front9coffee.com, promo code TJ10. And may your screens be green for the AT&T Byron Nelson. We got sleepers coming out next week for the PGA Championship. I'm pumped about that. The season's 2nd major. All right. See you.